What if I told you the big job cut headlines aren't just about recessions? They are about AI rewriting the rules of work. And if you are investing in tech, genomics, or any business that depends on labor, you need to understand what's really happening. Welcome to ShareTrek, where science meets investments, and I'm your host Raj. Friends, today we are going to talk about unpacking how generative AI is accelerating major job cuts at big firms, pushing smaller firms further behind, and creating what could become a deep societal and income divide. This is based on the four headlines that I saw on CNBC this morning, and I remarked about that in our live stream. Let's dive right in. First up, the headlines. Amazon confirmed it will cut 14,000 corporate jobs as part of its next wave of restructuring. That's not just cost cutting for the moment, it ties directly into CEO Andy Jassy's statement earlier this year that as the company rolls out generative AI and agent based systems, we will need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today. And while you may have seen the figure 14,000, note some reports that say broader cuts could eventually reach up to 30,000, approximately 30,000 corporate jobs. From an investor's point of view, this means the labor cost structure for those big firms is changing significantly. Roles previously thought safe might be at risk. Let's now talk about the flip side. Smaller companies. Recent reporting shows that large firms are capturing majority of productivity gains from AI, while smaller firms simply aren't able to invest at the same scale. For example, AI is driving huge productivity gains for large companies, while small companies get left behind. What does that look like? Well, smaller firms may face higher cost of entry to AI tools, lack of data infrastructure, less talent, fewer resources. That means they risk becoming uncompetitive or forced to restructure themselves, possibly shrinking headcount. From an investment lens, if you hold companies whose customer base is small businesses or who serve small businesses, you need to ask, can that segment adopt AI fast enough, or will these firms lag and drag down the growth? Now, out here, companies, the small companies which have got a strong balance sheet and ability to hold on for a longer period of time, might potentially gain when the GPU refresh cycle happens, and the big companies, the big ones who are always on the latest GPU, start upgrading their data centers. They'll be selling the older GPUs, which may go to second tier data centers, which will be less expensive, and the smaller companies will start benefiting out there. So it's not a totally bad situation, but there's going to be a period of time when the small companies are going to feel a whole lot of squeeze, and the ones that survive are going to get really good deals with second tier AI data centers, and they would be able to get into AI and start reaping those benefits. And the difference between them and the first generation data center may not be that significant to cause too much of a competitive loss. So with that said, now I'm thinking about the broader impact with big firms cutting jobs where AI can substitute labor and smaller firms facing struggles to keep up. The stage is set for the K-shaped economy where winners pull ahead and the rest stagnate. We know that early career workers in more AI-exposed roles face higher risk of job disruption. Studies show approximately 13% relative employment drop in those roles since late 2022. This means skills-based, age-based, and firm size-based divides are happening. That has consequences for consumer demand, wage pressure, social mobility, and ultimately investment risk in sectors reliant on mass employment or broad income growth. So what does all this mean for you and I as retail investors? Well, here are four takeaways that I managed to identify. When analyzing a company, I think we should ask, does this business have labor-intensive operations that AI could substitute? Evaluate the small business ecosystem. Firms serving small businesses may face headwinds if their customers lag in AI adoption. Watch for firms that are leading on worker transition or reshaping roles, because that may offer competitive advantage and reputational upside. Monitor macro regulatory risk, a widening income gap, large firm dominance, and labor disruptions that could spark political or policy responses. These matter for long-term tech and AI investors. And friends, I'm thinking that if a whole lot of small businesses get wiped out in the first wave of AI implementation, then When the second tier of AI data centers come into play and cheaper AI offerings happen, there could be a lot of new small business that will be started to take advantage of those offerings, and we'll come back to some kind of a equilibrium. But the transition is not guaranteed, and it's going to be very volatile. That's my personal opinion. So I would like to ask you a question. What does this look like in your country or region? Are you seeing small firms struggle to adopt AI? Or are the youth in your job market being squeezed by automation? Drop a comment below. I would like to hear from you. From my personal experience staying in Canada, I don't think Canada has as much AI penetration as US is undergoing. So I think US is going to be in the forefront of this experiment, and what happens in US will inform rest of the governments, and they would be having an opportunity to put things in place before things break down. With that, my friends, I would say thanks for watching this video. If you found some value in today's deep dive, please consider subscribing and joining our ShareTrek community. We are trying to build a community of retail investors who can crowdsource trade ideas and market intelligence. Also, if you're interested, please join or subscribe to our free Substack. I put an article in the Substack which gives you more details about each and every long form video that I make here, like this one. The link to the Substack is in the description below. Thanks and have a great day. I'll catch up with you again in the next one. Bye for now.